Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 5 of Podcast, the world's greatest podcast. This is a really special episode. We actually have royalty amongst us. The Hotpot queen herself, Jia Liao, is here. We've got a really cool story to hear. There's a lot of really interesting nuance behind this product. I wore my special thematic shirt that matches Hot Pot Queen's really cool retro packaging design for the special occasion. But I think without further ado, yeah, let's hear about what brought you to this point, right? There's a lot of cool stuff that went into building your product. There's new product launches that you've got going on. But I think the world needs to hear how the Hot Pot Queen came about in the first place.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Peter, for having me. I've joined like several podcasts talking about different things, and I usually have to condense my intro in less than 1 minute. And this is like the first time I get to tell my full story, and I hope it's an interesting one. So you really started. So I was born in Chongqing, China, which is the heart of Sichuan chilies, and that's where the famous Chinese hot pot is born. And people there, actually, the weather is very similar to where I'm living, which is in Seattle. It's cold. It's really like damp. Humidity is really high. So the people, the workers, they would actually like to, like when they don't have money, right, and the poor, and they will take the intestines of the animal. They want to cook in a pot. But because it smells so strong, they usually put tons of spice in there. And the Sichuan peppercorn is like one of the most famous kind of ingredient in that region. So therefore, they put Sichuan chili and Sichuan peppercorn and the 10 other different spices and they cook them in a pot. That's kind of like early on what hot pot is from. So that becomes, it's really like function, it's out of necessity. And the people be like eating that like a stewed intestine, flavorful, spicy pot for generations. And then it later kind of become more of like a local love and staple. So in 1982, my mother opened a hot pot restaurant. And that was 5 months after I was born. So she's a very entrepreneur lady. So I pretty much grew up in like the aroma of hot pot restaurants, right? And my mother, she was so dedicated to her store. She will wake up at 4 o'clock and go buy the ingredients. And by 8 o'clock, she would be standing outside of her 3 table restaurant and be calling people, come in, eat. And so she was so generous with her spices and all of her, ingredients, and people were lining out the door. I say she would be like the early on OG of, like influencer if they had it back, in the early 80s. And then one day she wanted to solve a customer problem at the time, all the hot pot was all spicy. There is like no different variation. And then the people coming from other city, they will come to Chongqing, and then the locals will take them to my mother's, the most famous restaurant in town. And those people who can eat spicy food, they're like, give me a bowl of hot water. I want to wash the spicy, the ingredients and eat it. And she was like, that's not convenient. And then she thought about how do I solve that problem. That was kind of like the reason behind. And then she designed a pot that divided the broth into two. One side is spicy, one side is not spicy. And that pot is called the yuanyang pot. So if you go to any Chinese hot pot restaurant today, anywhere in the world, they will serve you hot pot in that pot. And my mother was the inventor of that.
She actually invented that.
She actually invented that.
Wow.
Chinese CCTV had a 50-minute documentary about her, and the title is The Queen of Hot Pot.
Yeah, so
And
she's the Hot Pot Queen. You're the Hot Pot.
yes, that was kind of the
You're the
story.
peasant of Hot Pot.
Exactly. So people have been asking me like, "Oh, we're gonna meet the hot pot queen. So you're the hot pot queen." I said, "Oh no, I'm not. It's my mother." And people are like, somehow it's always a mother. I said,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna claim myself as a Hotpot queen. That's not legit, right? Actually, back in 2007, Vice had an article about my mother. It called "An Audience with Queen of Hotpot." So the name kind of stuck, and she's quite famous. She even organized like a Hotpot association. She was like the president, and she really was, I would say, the pioneer, or the person who really pushed this very regional focused cuisine into more of a Chinese national scale, and now it became like almost international phenomenon. And I have feeling Hapa is going to trend in the Western world, in in Europe and North America as well. I'm starting to see a lot more of like Hapa restaurant popping up. I was at Expo West last year. I asked people, so do you know what Hapa is? 70% of people say, "Oh, I heard it, I tried it, I love it, I know what it is." So I was totally amazed. So okay, track back my story. So I have always like Hapa has like been part of my life. I just remember I would be like coming back home from school, right? Because my mother, she has this like manager's office in the restaurant, and I would just go hang out there to do my homework. She would have her meeting there. I was like probably 7 or 8, kind of be locked in to have like executive meetings. And in her opinion, she's saying that that is immersive learning. You might not understand what I'm talking about, but one day you're gonna take over the business, right? So we would eat spicy food, like even when I was pretty young. I think like 6 or 7. She would train me to. She's like, "You are, the daughter of the Hapa queen. You better know how to take some spice." Anyway, so it has always been mala, that key flavor of Hapa, which is spicy and numbing, combination of Sichuan peppercorn and chilies, has always been part of my life ever since I grew up, right? So when I was 15, I decided to come to America to study. My parents thought that that's a good education for a young child, as they were so busy with their business. They really didn't have a lot of time to, kind of help me with my studies. So I came to the United States for high school. I went to University of Washington. I got married. So I was in the United States for a good 10, 11, or actually 11 years, right? And then the family duty calls. And then my parents were like, okay, well, you promised me when you came to the United States that one day you will come back home gloriously. You already have all the US credentials. You learned all the, things about Western world. And now you're going to go back and help us build our family business. So I met my husband, got married, I went back to China. And I didn't know how long I was gonna go back. I was like, well, we'll see for a couple years, and I actually ended up staying there for 13 years, and until my first child was born. So during the 13 years, so my family kind of business moved from, we had actually tons of Hapa restaurants, expanded into like a franchise. At one point, we had 300 stores. I mean, out of that, like 200 was like franchise restaurant, but at one point we had 125 restaurants of our own. But again, that was also, we got a capital from Sequoia. We were expanding like crazy, and actually didn't really work out very well, taking the capital from outside, expand too quickly, and then we went back to the smaller size, and then our family business shift to other things like real estate. So when I went back, I realized like my ideology about the world, about business, is very different from my parents. They're super traditional. So we butt heads like all the time. So I tried to take over the family business for a year. Didn't work out. So I ended up starting my own business, which was like a modern tea lounge. So that was like the first tea lounge in the country that using coffee machine to grind tea leaves. I call them tippuccinos. I even trademarked the name in Chinese.
Okay.
Sometime in a way, I had a little conflict with investor, so it didn't really work out very well, and I walked away from the business. And that's when I started noticing, because I was in the U.S. for like 10 years, from late 1990s. I was in 1997 to 2008 for 11 years, right? And I was gone for 13 years. When I come back, I was like, whoa, there's so many more Asian stuff now.
Yeah.
When I remember, I went to Costco in my local region, and there was like 20% of the products are from Asia, like there's so many Indian products. I see mooncakes,
Right.
display, and there
So
was
you
like
were
I was
inspired
like,
by that. You realized that the market was now ready
yeah.
for your vision of Hot Pot Queen.
Yeah, well, I didn't have a vision then. I just knew that Hapa, it was more of a memory in me. At the time, my family still have like, 5, 6 Hapa restaurants, but it was not part of our main business. But the legacy, the story, the people who born in the early 80s all remember this very famous restaurant in China named like Little Swan. That's the name of our restaurant, and it was a memory of a generation basically. So it was also part of me. But I came back, I was like, oh my god, what is going on here? And before you go to a Chinese restaurant, they'll have like generalized Chinese food, like kung pao chicken, sweet and sour, and they'll have dumplings and noodles. They have everything. But now everything's specialized. There's a Hapa restaurant. There's a dumpling restaurant. There is like a restaurant that's just for I don't know, like it's barbecue, very specialized. And I see that, the market is shifting. And then I saw some chili crisps out there, right, in 2021, like there's Five by Jen, Momofuku. I'm like, interesting. It's like, okay, well, I guess maybe it's time to think about, is there a way I can find what is close to my heart, the roots, and I kind of bring something to the America. And because we have Hapa restaurant for so long, we have our own factory. So our factory is situated in the hometown of Sichuan Chili, on the outskirts of Chongqing, and it's been running for 18 years. So I say we got the manufacturer, right? We got the story. We are the mala expert for 42 years. Can I do something here? And I know American culture because my husband is a Japanese American. He was born here. I lived here for like half of my life. There must be something I can do. And I always wanted to do something that bridges culture between West and East. So I was able to bring the world of tea, tea from different parts of the world to China. Now I get to bring authentic Chinese food to America. That was kind of the other way around.
Okay.
And I said, well, let's try it. So then, but I'm like, oh, I don't really wanted to do hapa though, because hapa broth, making hapa broth at home is still such a new concept for here, right? Have you ever made a hapa at home, Peter?
I have
You
actually. I'm
have.
probably in the minority. But
Wow. Okay, then yeah, I rarely do that. So we thought, maybe the market is not really ripe for that. It's a little bit too early. But the key flavor profile of hapa, which is that spicy numbing flavor, I can create some product around that, right?
yeah,
That's why I came out with 4 products, right? Actually, I only have sample of 2 or 3 before. Like our wild mushroom, I ran out at home. But anyway, I created this crunchy garlic chili crisp, which is more like the traditional Sichuan staple. We create a wild mushroom chili sauce, and that is kind of our signature. And we source the mushrooms from the high altitude mountains of Yunnan. And there's like a porcini mushroom, and there's a shiitake mushroom. So porcini mushroom is wild, and there's a small percentage of that, and it's like really fragrant. I don't know. Have you tried a product, Peter?
yeah. Actually,
Oh,
yeah, I bought it from Fresh Time actually. Yeah.
oh, you did. Which one did you try?
Oh, I mean, I haven't actually made all of the noodles yet, but
Oh, okay.
so yeah, I mean,
So
I'm
you will
looking
get.
forward to trying the noodles next
And then
because
we
those look
thought, okay,
interesting.
well, if people cannot make hapa at home, but what if we make it into a noodle form? So, and
Yeah,
then they can easily make it under 5 minutes, and they
that's
already
really
have the
smart.
protein.
Super
So
smart.
this is the first spicy hapa noodles in the market. There's
Yeah.
nothing like this, and the flavors are just, you can immediately taste that signature spicy and numbing flavor. It will make you crave for more. And this is our first noodle, and we just came up with a new one, which is spicy sesame dandan noodle. You'll receive them in your package today, and hopefully make some this weekend. I know you love make wonderful, delicious food on the weekends. So that's what we decided. We're gonna do those first, and but when the market's right, I'm actually going to introduce the packaged hapa broth to the American home, to the supermarket. That category doesn't even exist. But I think that hapa could be something a really fun thing to do for a family because it's a communal experience, and it would be a great product for the winter, and it's actually really economical because you buy a bunch of ingredients or whatever leftover you have, throw it into the pot, and I'm actually going to include dipping sauce. So not just you have the hot pot broth, but you got your own dipping sauce. You have everything you need. Just need to
Yeah.
get some, meat, the proteins, the vegetable,
Yeah.
throw it in there, and you have a meal for two. So that's what I will bring probably next year. Actually, I already have the hot pot broth. I'm gonna get two. One is a savory mushroom, non-spicy. One is the Sichuan spicy traditional hot pot broth. So in two.
That's
Um,
exciting. So
yeah.
where can people buy your product now? Where are some of the places that people can find your product?
So we launched 2023 Expo West, so it we've been around for a little over a year and a half. We're currently in 500 stores, United States. We're actually in 57 Australia. We launched in February.
Awesome.
For United States, we're on the East Coast. We're in the fresh market, and we just launched with Pod Foods, a fresh thyme, and we are at the part of the NCAP innovation program. So it will be in every fresh thyme store. We're in Fairway Market, and on the East Coast, we're in Nugget Market, Berkeley Bowl, Molly Stone, Hagen, Townsend Country, and 150 other independents. So you should be able
Awesome.
to find we on our website. I think www.hotpotqueen.com on the store finder. I upload most of them, not the newest one, which I have to update, but you can find, basically type in your location and find the store near you.
Cool. That's a great story. Thanks for sharing it. I'm looking forward to trying the noodles, and I'm looking forward to trying all the new products when they come out. Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you, and let me know. I would love to hear a good customer feedback.